Hello everybody, welcome back to our December 2023 Advent Calendar. This is going to be day number 8, in other words, video number 8. And today we're taking a look at a jumbo moss farm. And when I say jumbo, I mean like full-scale moss farm. Yesterday we took a look at a mini moss farm that only used like 3 blocks worth of space. This uses the full possible capabilities of the moss block and its bone mealing effects, so this is a full-scale moss farm. We're going to go through the basics of how this works, then we're going to go ahead and build the redstone, and then for those of you who don't want the decorative build, you can end there, but for those of you who do want it, you can go ahead and stick around for the third part where we actually build up the facade all around the farm. Now, the rates for this are pretty good. So every hour it will use 6 stacks and 16 bone meal. All right. Now, for every 6 stacks and 16 bone meal, you will get 158 stacks of moss, 27 stacks of moss carpet, 6 stacks of seeds, and 10 stacks of assorted azalea bushes, or 18 stacks of bone meal. So pretty much there is an option in there. Let's go ahead and take a look where you can go ahead and turn on the farm, of course. And then there's the option to get moss, which is where you'll get all the moss stuff, or the option for bone meal. Now, if you set it to bone meal, whatever bone meal you put in the machine, you should, on average, get triple the amount back. Now, looking inside here, it's a pretty nice little build. Let's go ahead and look at the outside first. Outside, on the right-hand side of the building, we have a little bit of a loading bay with 2 forklifts and some cargo. Out the back, we ain't really got much. Out the front, we have an entrance in, and then we have a giant garage area for a truck. And then out the left-hand side, we just have some garbage bins and a few boxes. Looking at the roof, it is a pretty unique design. You don't see many builds like this, but there's 3 diagonal sections to the roof, so it's split up by 3. And then there are areas for windows on the top, except for on the very ends. Also, you'll notice I went for a bit more of a rundown look because all the windows are pretty much broken and smashed in. Then there's the big old mossy M on the front, and I also went for a bit of a gradient going from mud, packed mud, up to granite and mud bricks, into bricks, terracotta, and then finally acacia planks and stripped acacia. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the redstone. Pretty much how it works is this is the input to turn on and off your farm. That activates this timer right here. This timer runs a signal into this little circuit here, which will bone meal the moss, and then activate this piston, clearing off anything that spawns on top of it. Now, by having slabs, solid blocks, rails, and then stone like this, in this very specific yet weird pattern, it will spawn your moss all the way up here with the ability to have blocks covering the top. Now, pretty much how this works is it will spawn your moss. These 2 stone generators on either side will get activated by activating this T-flip-flop right here, powering this line, which will start depowering this pulse extender and activate this clock along with this pulse extender. That clock will activate your stone generators, which are going to crush and crush and crush your moss. And then once this first mini pulse extender runs out, it will run down this green line, activating your pistons at the top, crushing any azalea bushes or carpets that may have spawned on top. And then it will activate this little thing right here, which is going to send a second signal and repeat the entire circuit. Now, this clock will activate once every 2 times this activates. So pretty much this clock will go, it'll do 1 circulation, it'll activate this little section right here, and when that activates, it's going to go a second time, and then this clock will activate and it will go a 3rd time. So it's like every other time it gets powered by this clock or this right here. So let's go ahead and turn it on and show you this in action. So if we go ahead and turn the farm on, right now it is set to give us bone meal. You see that the timer is now going. Now it takes a hot second to get started because the timer has to actually go through the blocks. But there you go, it sends out the pulse, activating the bone meal, activating that little circuit over there, which is now crushing the moss. The piston's fired, which sends out another signal from this. So now it bone mealed again and got crushed. And now we wait until this goes. And there it goes. It's now starting again. So there's your moss. It's all getting crushed. The pistons are going to stomp it. It's going to bone meal again. It's going to continue getting crushed, get stomped, and then it's just going to go back to stone until this fires again. Also, when you turn off the farm, you may have to wait a hot second because only when you turn it off does this pulse extender actually start timing on down. That is to make sure that the moss has ample amounts of time to get crushed after you turn it off. And then once that turns off, it'll deactivate this and deactivate the clock. Now, in terms of item collection, it's just 5 hopper minecarts down under here, all going into a hopper line. This hopper line goes into this circuit right here, which is where you decide whether you get moss or bone meal. When this hopper is in place, it will all go down, giving us moss, but when it gets removed, it will go into this composter, giving us bone meal. The chests have been broken up like so. Moss goes into these first 4 columns, and the final column is bone meal. As of right now, you see we are getting moss, and you see that this hopper up here is under there. If we come on down here and we flick this lever, switching it to bone meal, and now head back up, you will see that this piston has shifted and the hopper has been removed and our composter is filling up. Now if we go ahead and look down below, we should see a piece of bone meal flow into this chest every few seconds. Now we are at 8. Give it like 5 to 10 seconds, we'll be at 9. And then about another 5 to 10 seconds, and we will be at 10. Now, if we go ahead and turn off our farm, like I said, depending on what stage it was at when you turned it off, you may have to wait for it to cycle through. When this pulse extender runs out, this is going to go down, and that's going to go down, and now everything is officially off, and you are okay to leave the area without completely breaking your farm. So that is the gist of it. That's how this farm works. It's really not all that complicated, and we'll get into it a bit more while building it. So let's go ahead and get into the construction of our redstone. Alright, so in order to start building, I've gone ahead and gathered a wide variety of things. So first of all, I grabbed a whole bunch of different colored wools because I like to separate out my redstone. That might not be you. But I also went ahead, I grabbed pretty much every different type of redstone component. You're going to need pistons, observers, hoppers, water, lava. You're going to need 23 of a certain type of item, any kind of item. And then you're going to need rails, hopper minecarts, hoppers, obsidian, smooth stone slabs, all kinds of stuff like this. I've also gone ahead and kept the layout for the building so that we can go ahead and build off of this. So these right here are going to be our starting points. This is going to be the farm on-off, and this is going to be the on-off or moss bone meal for the depending on what kind of item you want to actually be getting from this. So to start, we're going to go ahead and grab out some orange wool. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 1 like this, and run redstone dust across the top. So here, we're going to go ahead and put a normal piston right here. It should be getting powered. You're going to have your redstone block right there. Put your normal piston behind it like so. Behind this piston, we're going to have wool like that on both sides. You're going to have a comparator on the bottom of each one facing outwards. And then you're going to have a redstone dust on top of each of these. Out here, you're also going to have 1, 2, and 3 blue wool right here like so. And then we're going to put a redstone dust there. And then 2 repeaters, both on 4 ticks right there. That is going to be it for our blue wool. Go ahead and grab out 2 hoppers and get them facing into each other below like this. And then under the one that has the redstone block on top of it, put in your 23 items. This is your whole clock done. And if you were to go ahead and flip your lever, it would start your clock. I'm going to go ahead and flip it back so it actually locks, but you're going to see it flipping through. You'll see this actually get activated here. And then it'll flip back, these all drain back, and it's going to stay off. Now, I am actually going to do one more thing with my blue wool. I'm going to put a piece of blue wool there with redstone dust on top of it. And this is going to be where my redstone torch would go. And then up here is going to be where my green wool would go. Right there. And I'm going to have that torch there as of right now because that actually needs to be there to lock it. And then this is where that line would go, but we don't actually know where that line would be specifically right now. So I'm going to grab out our pink wool. Go in here with another repeater on 3 ticks. going into a block like this, with a block there and a block there. Every single one of these blocks has a redstone dust on top of it. On this side, the redstone dust is running into a T flip-flop, which has a dropper going this way, right there, one going up like that, one going this way, and then a hopper right there. You can then have a block here with a comparator output on the end and a solid block right there. And then you're going to need to get a random item and stick it inside of this dropper right here. Now it's time to go ahead and do this part. Grab out a sticky piston and a redstone block. We're going to put our sticky piston just like this with the redstone block on the face of it. Grab your dispenser. This must be a dispenser, cannot be a dropper, and a moss block. This is going to be the moss block that is actually getting bone mealed. Your dispenser is going to go right here. So when the piston extends, your redstone block will be under it with a moss block on top of it. Go ahead and grab some observers and a normal piston. Have an observer coming out the side of that dispenser right here like this, and then one facing down into that observer with the normal piston on the side. This way, whenever that block moves, it activates that, spitting out this piston. Now let's go ahead and just real quickly put in the layer of smooth stone slabs, and then we'll build up off of that later. So you're going to have your smooth stone slabs going all the way around this. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and you can remove the one on top of your moss like this. From here, you're going to be going 3 in this direction and 3 in the other direction. Pretty much you're building a 7x7 area. Just completely surrounding this, making sure not to put one on top of the moss block or on top of the piston. And we're just going to go ahead and completely fill in the surrounding area, just like so. So you're going to end up with something looking just like this. Let's go ahead and finish up the rest of our redstone circuitry down here. So now off of this solid block at the end of our T flip-flop here that we constructed just a second ago, have another solid block right here with a repeater on one tick coming out the end. Have that going into another solid block. Now here's where I'm going to grab some yellow wool because we're going to be switching into another circuit. So I'm going to put 2 yellow wool like this, and then I'm going to have a piece of yellow wool, 2 pieces of yellow wool right there. I'm going to put redstone dust here and here with a repeater there on one tick, a repeater here on one tick with redstone dust there. This is going to be going into our pulse extender, so I'm going to have another redstone dust here. And we'll come back to the pulse extender in a moment. I would like to build up this part first. So here I'm going to go ahead and grab my light blue wool, which I don't actually have. I grabbed cyan like a weirdo, but light blue. The light blue wool is going to be right here on the end of this repeater with a redstone torch above it and a solid block above that. Now I'm going to put a solid block right next to it like this, 2 there, and then come out by 1, 2, and then another 1, 2. Go ahead and grab your comparators. You're going to have 2 facing this way, like so. And then you're going to have 2 right next to it, facing that way. Put a redstone dust right there on that block, and then 2 on these blocks. Now, whenever you get rid of this redstone torch, or when this activates and this gets depowered, this will go ahead and slowly tick down until it completely burns out and gets shut down. Now, go ahead and grab a redstone torch, place it on this block here. And this is where this line of green wool will come into play with 4 redstone dust right there. So now we're going to go up by 4 torches. So we're going to do a torch with a block, torch, a block, a torch, a block, a torch, and a block. Then we're going to have 3 blocks right here, 2 redstone dust, and an observer facing into that redstone dust like this. Now this is where all of our normal pistons come into play. These normal pistons will pretty much be covering the exact same footprint as those slabs down below of a 7x7 area. And they're going to be right here 1 block below this observer because these are going to get completely covered in redstone dust. Okay, I'm actually incredibly sorry, but I'm realizing that I made a mistake here. So you see this covers out to here, but it shouldn't. This row should be removed and you should have a row right here. And that is because these should not be there. They should be here. And that would be because my error is that this should not be on the end of this block. It should be right on the block like this. So I'm very sorry, y'all. Let's go ahead and make this quick fix. Go ahead and just put a bit of a hole in our slabs. We'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I extend this side? Yeah. So this would be 7. And then here we can go ahead and make sure that we actually get this right. Let's grab out our dispenser, put one there, put a hole above me, there'll be one there, put our moss there, we can go ahead and put a slab there. Observers, facing outward, facing upward, and then go ahead and grab a normal piston right there like so. Now everything is properly lined up, because if this came out one too far, it would mess up everything that goes right here. Now that that has all been fixed, we can go ahead and grab out our redstone dust and completely cover the top of every single one of these normal pistons right here. And now whenever these torches activate, it will chomp and then chomp. What in the world happened here? Why are they invisible? That is so strange. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and replace all of these and we'll be right back. Now that they have all been replaced, let's go ahead and activate them. Alright, they're still like normal now. Okay. So that's all been fixed, and so that's that circuitry now all set up. Now we have to go ahead and set up the timer system for our stone generators. So let's go ahead and grab out our yellow wool. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 like this. Go ahead and grab out your comparators. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 comparators like this, and then 4 comparators like this. We're then going to have a solid block there. Once we have these comparators in, put a redstone dust right here, a block here with redstone dust on top of it. Then we're going to put a block here with redstone dust on top, a block here with redstone dust on top of it. Going into the side of a solid block there with a redstone torch on top and a solid block above that redstone torch. Then we'll have a redstone torch on the side of that block like so. Put a block right here and there, both with redstone dust on top of it. Now, out of this block right here, we're going to have a second block with a repeater on it, just like this. And then we're going to have a block there, and then 2 more, each one with redstone dust on it. Now, grab out our sticky pistons. We're going to have one right here, and we're going to have one right here. Now, this sticky piston is going to have a dropper on it, and this one is going to have a piece of yellow wool. Grab a random block, stick it in that dropper. Grab out your hoppers and put one facing this way right here. Coming out the side of that hopper right here, we need another comparator. Have that comparator running into a solid block. And then go ahead and create this little donut shape right here, with this corner being the block on top of that sticky piston. Go ahead and grab out 4 repeaters. Each one's going to be on 3 ticks. So you're going to click it twice, and they're going to be in this pattern here. And then you're going to put 3 redstone dust in these locations. Now, when this system activates, what's going to happen is this piston is going to get shot up. The dropper here is going to go into the hopper, activating this. And at the same time, this piston is going to go up, holding that block in place to complete the circuit. So that's going to start the clock, and this is going to actually put the block there. Then when it deactivates, this piston is just going to go back down, resetting that. And this one's going to go down, cutting off the closed loop, and that's going to go ahead and deactivate our clock. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is grab out a piece of yellow wool. We're going to put one there, and we're going to put one here. Now I'm going to use a piece of the cyan terracotta because this is going to be a piece of our garage wall. But if you're not doing the build, you can just use a piece of yellow wool. So I'm going to go ahead and use that like so. On top of that cyan terracotta should be a redstone torch, and there should be 2 redstone dust on these blocks like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to my red wool, and we're going to set up just like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab out my obsidian. This is going to be the redstone powering my stone generators. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out. Every single one of these should have redstone dust on top of it. Now I need to go ahead and grab out my red wool again. We'll come out by 2 more, and then we'll start going across. Now this is 7, 8, and 9. So this will be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So my redstone should run out of signal on this very next block here. Go ahead and test this by removing this torch. And what you'll see is this one then turns off. So we're going to replace that with a redstone repeater. We can go ahead and put that torch back now. Buy 7 more pieces of red wool. This should put you 4 blocks past where your pistons end. On top of every single piece of red wool, put on some redstone dust. Put another piece of red wool here with redstone dust. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 obsidian. And this should line up perfectly with the obsidian placed in on the other side. Every single piece of obsidian should have redstone dust on top of it. This is going to be activating your stone generators now, but we're not going to actually put those in quite yet because we're going to go ahead and now do the collection system because that's going to be a lot easier to get out of the way without these stone generators running. So to go ahead and set these up, go ahead and grab out your rails, powered rails, hoppers, hopper minecarts, stone, and redstone blocks. For your redstone blocks, we're going to go ahead and put 1, 2, and 3 on this end here. And then you're going to put 2 there and 2 there. The rest of this we can go ahead and start filling in with stone, but only on this end because over there we're going to actually need some hoppers. Once we get to this point here, we're going to go ahead and grab out some hoppers. We're going to end up having our hoppers flowing this way, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a block there temporarily to get my hopper line started. I'm going to have my hoppers go all the way across like this. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is just completely fill in these like this, all the way down where our stone should be. So you're going to end up with this little thing right here. You can now go ahead and get rid of your hoppers, stone, and redstone blocks. You're not going to need those anymore. For the center 3, it's just going to be a strip of powered rails running all the way down. Just like this. And then for these sides, you're going to have a bunch of powered rails. Then you're going to have 4 normal rails, and then a bunch of powered rails again. Do the exact same thing on the other side. And there are your rails all good to go. Now before you go ahead and put on your minecarts, you're going to want your stone and glass. And this is because we're going to need to go ahead and block some things up. So of course, on the ends here, make sure this entire side is stone. That way the minecarts bounce back. The rest of this is okay to be glass, except for these 3 blocks on this side, because these are going to have to be a solid block for the minecarts to bounce back again. So make sure those are solid blocks, and then just finish encasing it with glass, just like so. Now you can go ahead and put in 5 hopper minecarts, and those are going to go ahead and circulate the track just like this. Now the very next layer of blocks is going to be where our stone generators go, so let's go ahead and get those in place. Alright, so here's the deal for our stone generators. First of all, we're going to need to make sure that we have a bit of a barrier in place. So to do this, I'm just going to use glass. And this is going to be so that water and stuff doesn't end up flowing off the edge. So we're going to have these barriers just on the edge of these pistons. And these are actually going to have to go up a block. I don't know why I just put them in so low. But pretty much if you have it on this side, it should be covering that redstone dust. And actually, I do recommend that you have a layer in on that lower spot too, just for some extra coverage, so I was not wrong to put those in there. Now, where the pistons end on these sides, you're going to have a layer of blocks going across the top as well. But first, go ahead and put in some stone just of your own. This way, you don't have to get in there and get all agitated while trying to get things going. And then glass. So now you're going to have these little areas on the side. Now these little areas are going to be where our pistons, water, and lava go. So your pistons are going to go on the very back of your obsidian. They should be touching the obsidian. You're going to want solid blocks below them. And I recommend filling in this spot here too. Every single piston needs to get waterlogged with a bucket of water. And then it needs a block on top of it. This can be glass, this can be any solid block, I don't care. And then right above that water that's flowing, you need to put in a lava source, just like I did here. And we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. So we'll go ahead and put in our 7 pistons, cover the bottom of every single one, add another strip of blocks here, waterlog every single piston, put a strip of blocks on top of every single piston, and then put in 7 buckets of lava. And you're going to see that all those pieces of flowing water turn into stone. Now, just for fun here, we're going to go ahead and actually start this clock right here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is just right now, temporarily grab out a lever and go ahead and just power this right here. And that's going to go ahead and start your clock, assuming you did your redstone right. And this is just going to go ahead and fill in all of our stone. All right, once it's completely filled in, you can just break that lever. You're not going to need that anymore. Your redstone over here, once all these comparators shut off, will turn off. So there goes the piston there. All right, everything's now turned off. And your farm is now pretty much done. Of course, we're going to go ahead and add in the bone meal conversion unit over here and our storage, but the farm is functional as of right now. If we went ahead and grabbed a bit of bone meal, chuck that in there, if we turn it on, you will see it is actually going to be making us stuff. Of course, we need all these items to flow on over first. And then here we go. Boom, the farm is working. Now let's go ahead and hook up our storage. So let's go ahead and start by hooking up this bone meal conversion thing over here. We're going to do a redstone torch off the side of that block, a solid block above it with another redstone torch, another solid block, another redstone torch, and then another solid block. Now we're going to have solid block here. That's in a redstone dust on top of it. All right, once you have this, go ahead and add on 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 more blocks, every single one with redstone dust on top of it. Have a block there, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. Redstone dust on top of those 4, and a redstone torch on top of that one. Put a solid block there, and there, with a redstone torch on the end, and a piece of redstone dust there. Now come down by 1, 2, 3, and 4 more pieces of wool, and then 2 pieces of glass. Each piece of glass with a piece of redstone dust on top, 2 redstone dust there, 1 redstone dust here, and a repeater there. Grab out your pistons. You're going to have one right there next to that torch. Put a temporary block there. Place your hopper facing downwards. Remove that temporary block. Then you can put your piston in place. So we can go ahead and temporarily put a block there, and we'll get this piston in place. And this is what you should end up having. And when you flick the lever, this should shift, so the hopper will be under where this line will be running. And if we flick it again, it will move out of the way. Now we can go ahead and grab out our composter, because we're going to need to get that in place. We're going to have our composter going right here. So we're going to put in the composter. This is going to be where that hopper line for that goes. And then we're going to run across the top like this. So now these items are going across into the composter, but if we flick the lever, they're going to go down into here instead of across. Now we need to go ahead and set up our storage. To set up our storage, let's go ahead and grab out our hoppers, of course, and our chests, which I don't actually have any chests yet. All right, there's a chest. And what we're going to do is on these blocks right here, we're going to go ahead and put in our chests. These chests should end up going 4 blocks tall. So this is level 3, and finally level 4. In the back of every single one of these chests, you need to have a hopper flowing into that chest, just like I'm doing here. And then here, we need to have a hopper flowing down there, and then 3 going across like this, and then another hopper going down there. Now we need to go ahead and hook up our 2 lines. So this one on the very end that's going down, we're going to go up and up until we're level here. And then we're going to take it all the way down to the output from the composter line. And then over here, on the very far left one, where it starts by going across, we're going to go up, and then we're going to go ahead and work this until it is being hooked up into the line where our just plain moss would be flowing from. Just like this. So now all the moss that is in here should be flowing into the chest. Yep, there it is. It's starting to flow on in. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and grab out some item frames. Put an item frame on each one of these columns, just like this. Then you can go ahead and grab out your moss or a piece of bone meal. You could also use, azalea, seed, whatever it is you want to symbolize these things. But bone meal, and then moss, moss, and moss. and you can do it like this. Now, if you want to have more chests for bone meal, then I have already set up here. All you're going to do is change this around. So you see where these go ahead and they end here. You can just change it so that they end here, and then have a flowing hopper there, and have this like come in over here. Or you could have that go down and that flow across. It'll do the exact same thing, but because I want it set up like this, I'm going to go ahead and keep it the way I had it. Now that's actually it. Our redstone is 100% completely done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab 3 stacks of bone meal. I'm going to load up our dispenser, and I'm going to turn on our farm. As of right now, we're going to be getting moss, so we're just going to go ahead and make sure that everything is working right. We're going to be actually obtaining moss. So once the timer finishes ticking down, we see it activating. Items are being collected. They are going into our moss line, and we see moss going into the chest. If we flick this lever, we should now be obtaining bone meal. We do see bone meal heading into the composter and into our chest. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because our tests have been conclusive and the farm does 100% actually work now. So if you do not want to build a building around this, this is the end of the video for you. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope this farm gives you good use. However, if you intend to build the factory around the outside, it is time for us to go ahead and shift gears from redstone into decoration. So let's go ahead and start building up the factory now. Alright everybody, so it is time to go ahead and start building. So for the sake of this build, we're going to go ahead and work from the inside out. So we're going to start with the interior of this storage and control room. And then from there, we're going to go into the garage and then actually construct the exterior, because we already built the redstone, which is going on the inside. So I kind of feel might as well continue with the constructing the inside first kind of thing. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So first thing is first, when we're working on the inside, let's just go ahead and get the entire perimeter of this building established. So if this is the edge of your green wool here, you're going to have 1 block gap, and then you're going to have your exterior wall here. Now, from this redstone torch here, you're going to have that 1 block, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 to the right. And then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 to the left. And then on the sides, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 blocks in total. And then along the back, you're just going to be connecting that up. Now, the door is going to be going right here in line with this piece of your green wool. When you go inside here, you're going to have 3 white terracotta to the left-hand side of the door and 1 to the right. This is going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 blocks across the back of your hoppers. 4 to the left, so along the side of this orange wool. And then here, you're going to have your control panel. You're going to have 4 here, a door here, and then 2 here. Let's go ahead and put this in place here. So this is going to go all the way up to the height of our chests for starters. Once you have like this, we are going to actually go up 1 more, just all the way around. And now that's going to be that part complete. Go ahead and grab some stone brick stairs, and I'm just going to fill in like this. You don't have to, that's a very strange way of doing it, but that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to grab out smooth stone slabs, and this is going to be our ceiling. However, you do want this to go up half a block from those stairs, so that we can place some lights on it in a very specific manner. Once it is completely filled in, your room should be looking like this. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to put in some levers in random locations, ensuring that they are properly lined up on the same block. And we're going to run some end rods horizontally across. We're going to do 2 of these, because it's going to add some nice detail. Like in a warehouse, you have those lights that just go across the top. Go ahead and put in some polished deep slate blocks like this. Here's where we're going to put in a sign and a bunch of colors on the sign. So here we're going to have on, and here we're going to have off. I'm going to do all caps. Here we're going to have bone meal. And here we're going to have moss. Now I'm going to go ahead and add glow ink to every single one. Green to the on, and green to moss, red to off, and then white to bone meal. You of course can color code these however you see fit, but that is just how I'm doing it. Now I actually forgot to grab out a little bit of ice, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some packed ice here. We're going to put 2 packed ice right here, put another polished deep slate there, a item frame on each piece of ice, the top one having a redstone torch, and the middle one having a repeater, and then a lectern on the floor in the middle. That is your control panel all finished. Now it is time for us to go ahead and install the shelves that will be holding all of our archaeological pots. So I'm going to go ahead and install 2 pillars like this over here, and then over here I'm going to install another 2 pillars. Now on these pillars, I'm just going to randomly cover them in assorted trapdoors at random points, just to kind of make them look randomly damaged, maybe run down in a certain way. Once you have the poles decorated however you see fit, go ahead and use a mix of slabs and trapdoors to go all the way across, making shelves. We're going to have 2 shelves, so we're going to have one there, we're going to have a block space, and then we're going to have a second one up here at this height. And then same thing on the second shelving unit. Grab out a crafting table, and then whatever assortment of pottery sherds you would like to use. To craft these, I'm going to go into survival mode, and I'm just going to randomly put together some sherds in whatever random orders. Once you have your pots as you want them, go ahead and just start randomly placing them on the shelves. However you see fit, you can have the shelves completely packed, you can have them partially filled, you can do whatever you want. If you wanted, you could even go ahead and try adding some like boxes onto the shelves instead of pots, and that is going to be this room all finished. We can now go ahead and move on to the garage. For the garage, we're going to need cyan terracotta, acacia trapdoors, gray concrete, and polished deep slate walls. Now the walls in our garage are going to end up being 7 blocks tall, and then in case you didn't mark this area out, here is that green wool marker, 1 block to the left, and then you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, all emptied out for a garage, and then 1, 2, and 3 after that. These walls are going to be 7 blocks tall, with the door in the back being 5. So there's 1, 2, that's 3, 4, and 5. The rest of this is just going to be cyan terracotta, going all the way up. Now the vents don't come into play until after you get up 5 blocks tall. So there's 5. This is going to be a vent. Then we're going to have solid blocks there, and then this is going to be a vent. You can go ahead and put acacia trapdoors covering each one of these. Those are your vents. Now the ceiling is also going to be dark gray concrete. And now we can go ahead and pump these out. We're going to have 4 lights right here. We're going to have 4 lights right here. And then we're going to go ahead and have 4 lights right here. And 4 lights right here. So that is your garage all finished. Now let's go ahead and construct the truck that is going to be sitting inside of your garage. Alright, now when it comes to constructing our truck, we're going to do this layer by layer. So here is our garage. Also, if you didn't do the flooring in here is smooth stone, and the flooring in here is polished andesite. I kind of forgot to mention that because I left it in place. Now, when it comes to building our truck, here is the floor. And this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 coming out. I have this patch of gray concrete, kind of resembling a road. Our truck is going to be coming all the way out to the front edge of this. So, yeah, we can go ahead and get this in place now. So here is going to be our front bumper. It's going to be made of polished diorite. We're going to have a 4x4 of stone brick in there now. Then you're going to have 2 dark oak trapdoors on either end. And then we're going to have 2 coal blocks with a button on the end. Those are going to be representing your tires. And we're going to do opened fence gates there. Now we can go ahead and come back by 6 black stone slabs on both of these locations. Then we're going to do a 7th with 2 more coal blocks on either end, and then a button for a tire, 2 more spruce fence gates, and then we're going to have a gray banner on the front of either one of those. Now we're going to come back by 3 more black stone, and then we're going to come out by 1 on either end. This is going to be our back bumper. And then before we finish this layer, grab out a spruce sign and stick it on this location on the back bumper as the license plate. Now let's go ahead and get the materials for the second layer. For layer 2 of the truck, you're going to need gray wool, gray concrete powder, grindstones, dark oak signs, smooth quartz stairs, smooth quartz slabs, white shulker box, and acacia trapdoors. Let's go ahead and start off with the gray wool. We're just going to be filling in this entire middle section of our truck all the way up until here. Here's where we're going to have 2 pieces of gray concrete, not gray concrete powder, but gray concrete. And on the sides of these, we're going to have 2 dark oak signs, just like this. Then here, we're going to have 4 more gray wool, 2 gray concrete powders, 2 grindstones. Now taking out our quartz, we're going to have a stair there with a slab, and the same thing on the other side. Then here, we're going to do a stair, a slab, a stair, a slab, and then we're going to do a stair, slab, stair, set up like this to kind of mimic a fender going around the tire. And then we're going to have 2 more slabs going all the way out the back. We can set this exact same thing up on the other side. Just like this. And then out here on the very, very back, go ahead, take your 2 acacia trapdoors. We're gonna have these going down off those back stairs like that. And then take your white shulker boxes and go ahead and set them up just like this so that it looks like the seam of a door. You can just go ahead and put in your shulker boxes now. These are going to be going all the way up the truck. So we're going to go ahead and put in 3 more layers of those just to kind of get that out of the way. Now moving on to layer 3, we can go ahead and take out some white concrete. Let's go ahead and start with the back of the truck. We're going to do 2 white wool, each one with an acacia button on it. Then we're going to do white concrete all the way down to the very last block. This is going to be a strip of white wool with acacia buttons on either end like this. Fill in the sides with the concrete as well. That is going to be the back half of the truck for this layer complete. Then we're going to put 2 black stone walls in the middle here, kind of as a connector. Then we're going to do 4 white concrete. We're going to do 2 more white concrete here with 2 iron trapdoors, 2 oak stairs for someone to sit in to drive. Then we're going to do a wool, concrete, concrete, wool with 2 levers on the sides going down. Time for layer number 4. We're going to go ahead and again start with the back of the truck. We're going to go ahead and do 2 more white wool and then a strip of white wool here, filling these in again with white concrete. Now this time we're going to take warped signs for detail. We're going to do 2 warped signs there, skip a block, and then 4 warped signs on this side. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the truck. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4, skip that block, and then we're going to have 1 and 2. Back half of the truck for this layer is now complete. You can take 4 smooth quartz stairs. They're going to go here, again with your 2 black stone walls in between. We're going to go ahead and put in some glass. So we're going to do 2 black stained glass in the middle with a light gray stained glass on either side, and then a stone brick wall on the edge. So connecting to the light gray glass on both sides. Alright, now we're on to the 5th layer. We're going to do our oak wool again, and then white concrete again on the back of the truck here. Then we're going to have 2 birch trapdoors here, and we're going to open those both up. These are going to be holding up a unit above them on the next layer. Here, for the front of the truck, we're going to take iron trapdoors, and we're going to cover this entire 2x4 section right here. And then we're going to take 4 white carpet across the glass at the front, and that is going to be the roof for the front section of your truck. On to the next layer here, we're going to go ahead and do our white wool again. You are going to need another layer of shulker boxes. So go ahead and put those in. Take white concrete all the way down, your strip of white wool, and then fill in the other side of the white concrete. Now for this layer, we're going to have 2 oak signs one on either side in this location, just like this. Now we're going to go ahead and take iron blocks. We're going to do one on top of each birch trapdoor, just like this. Have an acacia trapdoor on the front, and a diorite wall to the side of both. So you're going to end up with something like this, kind of resembling an AC unit. And then we're going to fill in the back half of the truck roof with white concrete. And then to finish off your truck, take out some white carpets and just cover the entire back half of your truck, not including the AC unit. Once you have the entire back half of the truck covered in that white carpet, your truck is now officially finished and looking pretty nice sitting in that garage. Now that we have the garage interior done, we have the truck in place, and we have the interior of our storage area in place, it is time to go ahead and start on the exterior of this build. We're going to go ahead and start with these fine little details like the forklifts, that crate, and the garbage bins on the other side of the building, and then we're going to go ahead and actually construct the entire building. So let's go ahead and start off with the garbage bins on the left-hand side of the building. For this, we're going to need a assortment of barrels, beehives, oak and spruce planks, oak and spruce signs, lime green and normal green terracotta, red concrete, iron trapdoors, dark oak trapdoors, and birch fence gates. Starting on the far back side of the building, we're going to take out our green terracotta and do a base layer of 6. And then I'm going to take the lime terracotta, like this, red in the middle, birch trapdoor opened like so, and then dark oak trapdoors and iron trapdoors accordingly. We're also going to need some stone buttons just to kind of resemble handles on either side of our garbage bins. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some barrels, just kind of fill in this area. I'm also going to go ahead and take out some spruce planks, 1 and 2. I'm also going to do an oak plank on the bottom there, actually. Take out our signs. I'm going to put an oak sign on either side of those on the oak plank, and the spruce plank I'm going to completely surround by spruce signs. Now I'm going to take my red concrete. I'm going to do a 2x6 area, and then top it with a 2x6 area of red concrete. Dark oak trapdoors, iron trapdoors, birch fence gate, and then these buttons on either side. Here I'm going to grab out our beehives, and I'm just going to do a little pile of 3 like this. I'm then going to take out my green terracotta, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then lime terracotta on top of that in a 2x6. Again, I'm going to put on my trapdoors accordingly, put on my fence gate handle, and my stone buttons on either end. And I'm going to finish this off with a barrel in this location here, and 2 oak planks in these locations here. I'm going to finally grab my oak signs and go ahead and put one there and there. That is going to be the garbage on the left side of the building complete, and we will now go ahead and move over to the forklifts. Now, before we actually construct the 2 forklifts, we're going to go ahead and add in this crate and these boxes over here. So for these boxes, we're going to have a oak plank, a spruce plank, and a beehive. On the side of the oak plank, we're going to have a oak sign like this, and we're going to completely surround the spruce plank with spruce signs. Of course, not on the back, because that is going to be where our building goes. Also, while we're over here, I'm just going to go ahead and bring up this door, so it's going to be 4 tall, just like this. This way, when we're actually building the exterior, we don't have to do that. And then finally, we're going to take out beehives, and we're going to do a little 3x3, and then we're going to take that up by 3 blocks. So you're going to get a 3x3x3 of beehives, just like this. And now we're going to go ahead and actually construct the 2 forklifts. Alright, so for building the forklifts, we're going to need blocks of coal, stone buttons, polished deep slate, stairs, and walls. We're going to need dark oak fences, spruce trapdoors, chains, iron trapdoors, flower pots, item frames, oak signs, birch signs, lecterns, redstone dust, smooth quartz stairs, smooth redstone stairs, smooth red sandstone, and smooth red sandstone slabs. So let's go ahead and build up this forklift here, shall we? We're going to start off with the tires, which are going to go in these locations here, here, and here. And then I'm going to do this for both sides at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and do this as well. And then we're going to have stone buttons on both sides of these coal blocks. So we're going to do like this. And the back one is not going to have a button on it. Now let's go ahead and add like the actual fork and get that out of the way. So we're going to have off of the front of each tire 4 iron trapdoors coming out. And then we're going to go up by 5 polished deep slate walls, just like this, adjoining it in the middle. Once you get a structure like this, go ahead and put a flower pot on top of each side wall like this. And then down the middle, we're going to do chains, going all the way down until they are even at this point with the trapdoors. Go ahead and grab your oak signs real quick. Put one on the back of each of the back tires. That's going to resemble a license plate. On top of the back tires, actually we'll do that in a second. Let's go ahead and get the red sandstone out of the way. So for the red sandstone, we're going to just do a little formation like this on both, just kind of filling in between the tires. We're going to put a stair in these locations and a strip of solid blocks across the front. We're also going to put a solid block in the middle. Then on the back here, we're going to do 2 upside down deep slate stairs and then a normal facing run in the middle. On each of the upside down ones, we're going to put an item frame with redstone dust in it to resemble the back lights. Once all of these steps are done, we can go ahead and add in our chair, which we're going to put birch signs on the side of, and then we're going to have a lectern in front of that. And then we can go ahead and finish it off by putting some dark oak fences in these 4 locations like this, each one going up 2 tall. And then we're going to put a little 3x3 of spruce trapdoors across the top as the roof. And there you have it. Your 2 forklifts are now officially complete, and we have all the crates and stuff in place around them. Now we can go ahead and grab out our blocks to start building the actual structures of the building. To do this, I'm going to be using packed mud, granite, mud bricks, normal bricks, terracotta, acacia planks, and stripped acacia wood. Alright, so I'm not going to walk you through gradienting this entire building, but what we are going to go ahead and do is just kind of talk about how tall it needs to be, and then you can decide if you're going to gradient or if you're just going to use solid blocks, whatever it's going to be. So here we have the 1 block going all the way around. So here's the deal. This is going to have to go up 14 more blocks. Now you can gradient this however you're going to. I intend to try and use a mixture of all these blocks that I listed off in the exact order they are in my hotbar. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. I'm actually going to go ahead and add a little bit more on the bottom here. Try to make it stand out a bit more. Have a little bit more of the brick. And then that very 15th block is where your acacia should start coming in, because the rest of the acacia is going to like run up into the roof segments that are going to be on the diagonal. So this is the area I'm going to be trying to play with, and this is how it's going to be on the front. Now when it comes to windows, we're going to talk about that after we actually have walls in place. So let's go ahead and get walls in place every single side of the building, and then come back once you have that done. Like I said, this is the gradient I'm going to try to do, so let's see how this works. Pretty much to do this, I'm just going to be placing in a bunch of packed mud on the bottom, and then once I feel that there's enough mud, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to some granite gradually, being sure to mix in some packed mud into my granite layer too to make it look like it's, sparse and just like switching over. And then once I'm pleased with my granite, I'm going to switch into my mud bricks. Again, keeping some granite in that layer. So here we are at this layer now, and I'm pretty happy about it. And then once we have enough of that, we're going to start switching into our brick layer. Now, I, as you see here, have a lot more mud in place than I showed on the side, but depending on where you're doing this, it is going to vary. Also, you might want a few more bricks than you do terracotta, so it's all up to you. But if you were to look at this from the side, you'll see that what I had in place on the side is lining up pretty good with what I've done so far. Nothing really looks crazy out of place. Now I'm going to start switching over to my terracotta, and the terracotta should pretty much go all the way up to the top here. I'm going to have mostly terracotta on this top with just a few pieces and hints of acacia. And then that's going to be my wall. And the acacia is really going to come in like the next 4 or 5 blocks for the roofing area, but we're going to get to that part last. So there's a little piece of how I'm going to be doing this. Now go ahead and do this all the way around your build. Have fun building all. Come back once you have that complete. Alright, so once you now have all your walls in place and they've all been, dealt with and made looking quite nice and fancy, they still look incredibly dull, bland, and boring. So there's still a lot of stuff we need to go ahead and do. For starters, we're going to go ahead and add a canopy over this truck. So what we're going to go ahead and do for this is we're going to take out some deep slate brick walls on either side here. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can go ahead and do 6 tall on the walls. Go ahead and fill in your cobbled deep slate just like this. And then in these middle segments, we're going to go up by half a block. And we're just going to go ahead and fill these in all the way across, just making a nice little canopy for your truck to be under. And once that is done, you can go ahead and get rid of those deep slate blocks because you're not going to be needing those anymore. Now we can go ahead and also decorate the wall a little bit, maybe with, say, a giant M to represent Moss Factory. So what we're going to do is here on the end of this side, we're going to go up by 2 blocks, and then we're going to put a green concrete block. We're going to do moss, green concrete, and moss, just like this. We're going to do moss there, green concrete there, 2 moss there, and then a green concrete there and there. You can go ahead and get rid of those moss and green concrete blocks. Now you have a nice M to decorate the front of your building. 1 block out on either side, we can go ahead and add some windows. Then we can skip another block and then another set of windows there. So there you go, you got some windows that you can decorate now, and we'll come back to the windows. First of all, let's just get the spacing down. Over here, we're going to do the exact same thing on the exact same height level, so these will match up perfectly. We're going to do this, then we're going to skip a block and do another one. Then we're going to skip 2 blocks and make another one, skip 2 blocks, make another one, then skip 1 block and make a final one. Now this is going to be the exact same on the opposite side of the building, so if we come all the way around to the left-hand side, we can go ahead and punch out these windows in the exact same spots with the exact same amount of blocks in between. They will line up perfectly. Oh, I messed up. That was supposed to be 2. There we go. And then here is 1. And then on the back, we're going to go ahead and punch out the windows exact same as on the front. So we're going to have 2 and 2. And then we're going to skip the whole middle section. And then on the other side, we're going to go 2 and 2. And we're going to leave the middle as is. We're not going to decorate anything on the back. Now, on the back left and right hand side, we can't do this on the front because the canopy for the garage is in the way, and here it just doesn't look all that right. But on the left, right, and back hand side, under each window that we just punched out, we can skip 2 blocks and then punch out another window. This ends up taking up a good chunk of space and adds some nice bits of detail to your build while not making the walls look so bland and just the same. Once all of your windows are punched out, the way we're going to actually fill these windows in is pretty unique. So behind each window, we're going to go ahead and set up a layer of black stained glass, just like this. And behind all the black stained glass, you're going to have a layer of gray concrete, making sure to cover every single side of the window, left, right, front, back, and the bottoms. This is going to block out all light. And then out here on the front of the window, you can go ahead and just fill it in with a mixture of bamboo fences, glass panes, and scaffolding to give that broken window look. And we're going to go ahead and do this for every single window. So you're going to make sure to cover it completely using your concrete and your black glass. And then you can go around to the front and actually fill it in with an assorted amount of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and let you do whatever it is that you want to do with all of your windows now, and then when you come back, we're going to go ahead and discuss the final aspect of this build, which is going to be the 3-part diagonal roof. Alrighty, everybody, so now that you should have all of your windows done however you wanted to do them, it is time to go ahead and add on the roof. Now, while the roof might look complicated, it actually is not. And I'm going to go ahead and walk you through how to easily make this. So when you're looking at your build from the front here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we're going to put 2 cobbled deep slate slabs. Now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 more cobbled deep slate slabs. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 2 more. And one of those should be hanging off the side of the building. Now we're going to go ahead and work on this from the back to the front here. So on this very back one here, we're going to go ahead and run this all the way across the back of the building, just like this. And then we're going to do that same thing on the other side there, these two. And we're going to make this entire thing 2 half slabs tall. But since these are like 2 different blocks here, these are going to be a bottom and a top half slab. So let's go ahead and put all that in place. So you're going to end up like this, and then you're going to go up by another half slab, and we're going to run it all the way across. Not like that, as the top half slab, there you go, all the way across, just like this. And then what's going to happen is we're going to run this all the way across, up a half slab, every single layer, until we get to this layer here. And as we take this roof and go all the way across, eventually, we're going to get to this point and we're going to build up these walls on the side. Now, while me explaining this might not make much sense at all, I can definitely go ahead and show you a bit better. So pretty much this is going to go up half a slab every single layer until you get to the very top where you are at this point here. All right, so now here's the deal. We have these two, and it's supposed to go 6 times. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5. And then we need this to go 1 more time, so that would be 6. And then here is where we're going to have a strip of cobbled deep slate stairs going all the way down. So actually these glass panes and everything have to move over and up by a block. But if we just go ahead and run this all the way across down to here, we can then run these cobbled deep slate stairs all the way across. I'm going to go ahead and quickly remove these glass panes and everything. So here's this. The glass panes are supposed to go here. And then you're going to have blocks like this on the side. But here's the deal. Since this is an outside block here, this is where our more acacia is going to come into place. And we're going to really use a bunch of that acacia right there. Then we're going to run this gray concrete all the way across. And then here, we're going to have that same thing. And we're going to have to go ahead and raise our slabs. So we can go ahead and place in all of our slabs to elevate all this. You'll get to this point here. Now we can go ahead and fill all of this in. And these 2 glass panes here should be acacia, so it's going to be completely filled in. And then you're going to have glass panes all the way across here as windows. And in back of these glass panes, we are going to have our gray concrete. Again, kind of obscuring the view, so there are windows, but you're not actually going to be seeing any of the ugly stuff inside the building. And then over the top, we're just going to go ahead and connect all these layers that we now have marked out until everything is finally put together. So there we go, and boom, that is now complete. There is 1 layer. Now we have to do this 2 more times, and on the last one, we don't actually have any windows. So let's go ahead and do this. Now this has to go up, so let's see here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then finally 6. It should be hanging over this end here. And then this would be where our stairs go. So again, I'm going to go ahead and put all of this stuff in place. So there's all the deep slate and whatnot in place now. If we go ahead and start putting this in for the next layer, it is going to start off even with the gray concrete from the previous level. And then let's not forget to go ahead and stick in this stuff for this layer here. So it's going to start down there, it's going to go there, and then let's actually go ahead and bring all this up so that's even on both sides. So it connects. And then here we can go ahead and connect both ends. Go ahead and fill this entire area in the middle in. Now that that is all filled in, we can go ahead and grab out our terracotta and mostly our acacia and fill in the space. And then once you get here, of course, we're going to go ahead and get our windows installed. So of course, just like over here, the windows are going to be just behind these stairs. So on this level here, we're going to run this all the way across, put in our acacia on the other end, just like so. And then we're going to go ahead and install the backing of gray concrete, again, to hide the interior. Install the glass panes. Now we are going to be done with that concrete and glass because we're not going to be using that on the next layer here. So now let's go ahead and install all of this again for the third and final time. Just this time there's going to be no windows. So this one is going to come all the way up until the stairs are going to be hanging off the side of the building here. So once we've gotten this up to the point, we're going to go ahead and take this all the way across, just like the other 2 times. Now we can go ahead and put our cobbled deep slate stairs all the way across. We're going to go ahead and set up these slabs and everything, just like we had on the other side, bringing these all the way up until it is equal and lines up with our top area here, just like this. Now we can go ahead and fill in this entire section, once again, just like the other 2. And then finally, once all of that is filled in, you can now go ahead and take out your terracotta and acacia. And we're just going to go ahead and, just like the other 2, fill in the sides. So we can do this on both sides. Go ahead and get that all filled in. And then this section here, because there are no windows on the side, we're just going to go ahead and completely fill in with the acacia mixtures. Just continuing with our gradients like we had before. We're going to use a bit of our terracotta as a bit of a connector, if you will. And we're just going to do our gradients all the way up to the roof. Also, with using your acacia wood, you can remember that it is directional, so you can get a few different patterns that'll add a bit of extra detail in there. I do really like the way the acacia wood looks, so I try to use more of it than planks, so using those different directions helps get some nice texture on your build. Once you are completely done with filling that in, you can go ahead and get rid of any extra blocks you may have, because your farm is now officially complete. You now have a 100% working, fully automatic moss farm hidden inside of this beautiful factory that we just went ahead and constructed. Decorated with all kinds of things from crates, forklifts, storage trucks, garages, and trash bins all around the building. And on the inside, we even have a full archaeological storage room. Now, if you have enjoyed this video and do like this build just as much as I do, maybe consider smashing that subscribe button, because this has been one of the largest tutorials I have ever done on the channel, and the fact that I've done it in a December advent calendar of all places, I think deserves a bit of credit. Plus, this is only day 8. We have over 16 more tutorial videos to come. So maybe go ahead, smash subscribe, and hit those notifications so you don't miss out on any of the other amazing tutorials I intend to be making this month. Anyways, this has been Mr. Gaming Aquatic, and I'll see you next time. Happy holidays!